Guess who's back? Back again. Shady's back. Tell a friend. Max is back. Max is back. Max is back. Max. Oh, you thought I was going to say George?
Yabba do, yabba do, yabba do, yabba do.
Yeah.
Ooh, yabba, 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 yeah. T-pose.
Interesting. You think George is back?
Listen, he won the race. He got pole. Everyone's saying he's a cheater. Everyone's saying he's a cheater. But let me tell you, if Max Verstappen had done that, and it had been a different person who had crashed, and Max Verstappen had done that, people would have been like, that fucking heart of a champion.
Yeah.
He never lifts.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
I mean, listen, Max is back. We're going to have a good time with Gunter for Vank Hours, because you were saying, hey, what about, you know, they brought all these upgrades for Austria. Max, it's home race, and Gunter said, no, that's not that thing.
Yeah, home race isn't a thing. Yeah, I mean, you're totally right. If Max had done the same thing with the yellow flags, everyone was like, see, that's why he's a 4-time champion. That's it. So he's a 4-time champion. Russell does it. He's a total bitch.
Yeah,
he's a bitch that did a needle dick move and stole pole. He stole pole.
Yes.
No, it's so true. He can't do anything right. And he won this race, and we're all like, did he win it though? He wasn't the fast. He can't do anything right.
Yeah, and David Coulthard's like, they don't even want to listen to you. Everyone hates you, George. Everyone hates
you. They unanointed him so fast. He had such little time in the sun. Even when he wins, he fucking loses, this guy.
Yeah, he's ruined orgasms abound for one George Russell. Oh my God, this race, I wouldn't say it had everything, but it had a lot of stuff. It had a Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton remix, throwing it back. That was thrilling. It had Ferrari strategy blunders. That was, a return to form.
Right.
Max Verstappen crashing in qualifying, looking like Charles Leclerc, and then getting that podium. It was kind of thrilling at the end. We're going to discuss all of that and more on this episode of The Red Flags, part of the Vox Media Network. But before we get into that, I need you guys to do a couple things. First off, make sure that you are subscribed to the pod wherever you are watching or listening. Also, babies, we have the best merch in the game, and no one knows about it. Look at this. Look at this. Look at that.
Wow. Gorgeous.
It's World Cup season, and I'm feeling the vibes. It's so fun watching these games, and we have driver soccer jerseys, football jerseys. We've got Lando, we've got Max, we've got Lewis, and we've got Charles. Go to the website right now. Get yours, cop yours. These are the sickest jerseys in the game. And the last bit, our book, babies. Formula 101 for F1 fans who love the drama. It's coming out later this year. Pre-order now. Pre-order sales matter a lot because that's how you get a bestseller list. We want to be a bestseller, so get those now. Or get them when, just like at some point. You don't have to buy it right now, but come on. At some point, cop the jerseys, cop the book, and make sure you're subscribed. Okay, business done. Now let's get to the business of Formula 1. Matt, where should we start off this recap of the Austrian Grand Prix?
I guess we got to start with the reason George won this race.
Yes.
Being a little bitch in qualifying.
Yeah.
I mean, we spoke about it. We spoke about it on our Patreon. Subscribe. And he did a little lift. He technically slowed down. It's so interesting. I was listening to this. Peter Windsor was talking about this.
Yes.
It's interesting. The old heads who have seen people die were like a guy like him who was in the car when Frank Williams flipped and, was
Right.
like the old heads who've actually seen deaths in racing. A guy like that was irate. They take yellow flags very seriously. So he's like, this, like, he should be drawn and quartered for what he did. Like, to just like lift off the gas. And he actually got the regulations up. And he said that for single wave yellows, according to the rules for single wave yellows, drivers should lift and be prepared to change direction. So that's the second part of the rule. So according to Peter Windsor, who's been around the block way more than we have, he didn't think that, because he lifted from like 280 to like 230 or something. At going down at 230, he did not think he was prepared to change directions.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of deer, and he was talking about how there was like a horrific crash because there was like deer like hitting. There were a lot of deer on
Back
the track.
in the day, there was a crash with a deer, and he was like, people think that can't happen again. And he was like, it absolutely can.
Right.
Deer.
And he says so
all
basically
over these lands.
So basically, he said single wave yellow. People think, oh, that's just like a perfunctory lift. He goes, no.
Right.
But the spirit of by the letter of the law, actually, you're supposed to lift and be prepared to change directions. And double wave yellows, you have to significantly slow down and be prepared to stop. So that's the difference. One is you got to be prepared to get out of the way, and one is you got to be prepared to stop. And by that ruling, he wasn't really in a position to like swerve out of the way if there was actually something on track. But that's just where we're at now, I guess, with single wave yellows.
Yeah, I mean, curious if this has people looking at this, if this brings up a stricter definition of what a single wave yellow should be in terms of what's the expectation is of a driver. I mean, there's a few things here. Max crashes, and they only put up a single wave yellow because in the beginning of when you need a double wave yellow to come from race control. So a marshal on the side of the road can't put a double wave yellow. They just throw a yellow up, and then the race control says, no, double wave yellows, and then they can do that. Max afterwards said it was ridiculous that it wasn't a double wave yellow because, you could argue, yes, that he wasn't prepared to change directions, but you could also argue that he followed the single wave yellow by the letter of the law, which is that he slowed down. You could argue if it was significant enough, right? Clearly the steward said that he, nothing to see here. He did what he was asked to do within a single wave yellow. Now you could argue, obviously the internet's like, if you're British, then you get the benefit of the Benny of the D. And if that was Fernando Alonso or whoever else, would not have gotten the same treatment, and he would have gotten penalized, and he wouldn't have had that pole. We can have that conversation after this. It does bring up, when a crash like that happens, the dissemination of information from race control should be faster, because that is a crash that is like obviously you cannot be taking that corner with any type of significant speed because Max is beached there. Let's say he's getting out of the car, flashes of Jules Bianchi, flashes of, this is a really potentially dangerous situation. And so it should have immediately gone to either a double wave yellow or a red in a situation like that. It's the end of the session. There's 0 seconds left on the clock. Throw the red flag up and end the session right there. That's like another maybe more actionable piece of this information is like, how was that considered a single wave yellow? If a single wave yellow can also be the case when, because we see it in racing, right? It's like if someone just goes off and spins off, it's a single wave yellow.
Right.
And we'll see that. And sometimes a person's lap can get fucked by that unnecessarily. But this was not a situation that warranted a single wave yellow. It warranted a double wave yellow or a red flag. So that was like a huge fuck up. And you could argue that with the single wave yellow, what George did was actually, kind of above board. And he, and Kimi, I think it was that Kimi was told that it was a double wave yellow, or he couldn't quite see, so he just aborted his lap, when maybe Kimi could have just like kept on and continued that lap and potentially got it, but he didn't know. Bono came on the radio, yellow, 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 so he just aborted the lap. So kind of a difficult situation.
Either way, I mean, George could have put this thing to bed and won in a dominant fashion, but he wasn't he wasn't the fastest guy.
The race,
yeah. He could have put this thing to bed. He could have had a commanding win. He was not the fastest guy on track. Max it was a horror movie the way Max was reeling him in. And then the twist of all twists, they undercut Max from the front, and then a rare strategy fuck up from Red Bull. And I really think that Max almost got knocked, because if you watch qualifying, guys, Max almost got knocked out in Q2 because they were like, we're only going to do one run and we're going to save the mediums for the race. And Max, remember when Max was like on the cusp? And
Pierre Gasly was going to fucking knock him out. Yeah.
Yeah, he almost was knocked out of Q2, and it was almost a fucking disaster. But Pierre Gasly missed him by like a couple of hundredths or something. And Max was just sitting there in the garage, helpless. And then he got through, and they're like, well, he's going to have an extra medium for the race. And I think what they were hoping was if Max could extend, they're like, we sacrificed all this. We almost look like morons to have this medium. So we have to justify that risk that we took. So they had that, but they couldn't put the medium on so early. So they stayed out later, but Max's tires were so dead that they ruined his race. And I think they should have done, I think Montoya was saying, who's been a great addition to the team, Montoya was saying at the end of the race that they should have just done what they did with Kimi, which is as soon as it was clear that his tires were dead, just eat it. Just because even though George undercut him, Max was fast enough that he could have just made up the difference. But by the time they brought him in, he was neither here nor there.
Also, you do the thing with George Russell, which is that you put him under pressure and watch him fold. You know?
Exactly.
I mean, he was kind of under pressure, and he was flying off, like track limit. He was going long,
logging up. Yeah.
He was doing all that. Yeah, I mean, certainly, just to stay on George for a second before we get into Max, is we're certainly going to get to him and his race and what this means for Red Bull. Yeah, I think here's the thing. I think that he's getting killed right now. George is getting fucking eaten alive with this qualifying situation with the red flag. You go on the YouTube video and you see the onboard. And you go, is the lift in the room with us? Where is the lift? And I agree. Certainly, it's multifaceted. There's hypocrisy on Formula One's point here, and from F1, which is that like we do a 5-second like everyone get your dick up moment at the beginning of every race now for safety. And they're doing all these things to make sure that for safety with these new cars, with these new regs, right? Even though now the cars, it seems like all can start, figuring out how to start. So are we going to have 5 seconds for the rest of the season, even when everyone figures out how to get these cars going a little bit faster? Is that the case? I mean, Ferrari is like gotten fucked by this thing because they do it in the name of safety, which is like, whatever, you can do that. But then you have a situation like this, where you don't put out a double wave yellow and you leave room for George Russell, who is the competitor, to know the letter of the law and to say, okay, I'm going to slow down. Like, I am going to lift because I'm only concerned with winning this championship. I'm not concerned with my safety right now. And I think that I honestly think that if it had been someone else who everyone didn't fucking hate, there would be a level of like, that's a guy, who knows the book. I mean, Max knows the book, right?
Of course. No, I totally agree. If Max had done it, people would be talking about
I don't want to say that everyone would have loved it. I think there would have plenty of people hate Max, and they would have said that was dangerous. That's exactly the kind of shit that he does. But the Max stands would be like, he's a fucking killer. Like he's always locked in. He knows the rule book to the letter of the law.
But I think was it what race was it, Jeddah or was it Baku, when there was yellow and Lando just aborted his lap, and you and I were, and a bunch of people killed him. We were like, what a bitch, caring about safety. like you just do a little perfunctory lift, just a little token lift. But that's it. But that's the onus should not be on the drivers to be the safe, the people that are trying to make us safe or make the grid safe. The onus should be on the FIA and the marshals who are paid very well. Oh wait, they're not. They're just guys. So yeah, no. George is doing what he can get away with. What should have happened is it should have been an immediate double wave yellow or an immediate red flag. But they don't have the systems in place because there's
no money in Formula One, Matt. There's no money there. There's no there.
Yeah, and because the FIA is a clown show, and it's not a real professional. No organization that uses people that are unpaid to the people that keep the track safe, the people that keep those guys who are paid millions of dollars, the people that keep the track clear and the drivers safe. Those people are unpaid. They don't make any money. And the guy who's in charge of all of it was not democratically elected. And
and now they're getting rid of term limits.
Now they're getting rid of the term limits. Okay, so it's a complete joke. It's a complete sham of operation that dates back to an era when nobody gave a fuck about Formula One, and it was just kind of a gentleman's. It was a gentleman's sport that wasn't really of any monetary value. It's because now what's interesting is now they're going sort of the franchise route. They're going the American model with franchises. These teams are becoming really with the cost cap, and they're doing sort of a draft pick thing with a duo and the extra wind tunnel time. That's kind of like sort of like draft picks a little bit. They're trying to model the NFL and the NBA, but the difference is in the NFL and the NBA, they hire commissioners that are like serious people.
Yeah,
you might not like them. Yeah. But they're serious people, like Roger Goodell.
And the refs are paid professionals. Yes. The refs are paid professionals who do this for their job.
Yes.
And who get evaluated. And if they do a bad job, then guess what? They either don't get hired again, or they certainly don't get to judge the most important games. They don't get to call the most important games. However, if you watch the NBA Finals, I don't know what the fuck those refs were doing, but whatever. That's not neither here nor there. No, it's 100% true. You can't listen. George is getting killed. I gotta defend him. You can't expect George to, he's doing everything that he can in order to get there. And if he sees a single wave, if he sees a single yellow, who knows what the fuck that is? You don't know that it's Max Verstappen beached. Who knows what it is? It might be Max Verstappen who have just like kind of gone long and is driving out of it. It's like a single wave yellow can mean something completely unserious, or in this case was just a stepping stone to something that was a lot more serious. So
there's a great clip of Kimi Räikkönen where there's just smoke.
Yes,
something happened, and there's smoke, and the commentators are like, "Well, Kimi's going to have to lift here," and he just goes flat through the smoke. Yeah, and everyone goes, "What a legend!" Just goes flat through the smoke. Like, could have been anything there. Could have been a car just in the middle of the road, and he just goes flat through the smoke.
Right,
and it's one of his most glorious moments of his career. If George did it, he's a serial killer. He could have killed somebody.
I mean, this guy lame, can't catch a break. But it's just because he has no riz. It's just because he says yabba dabba doo, and he gets out of the car and he does the T-pose, and he can't stop talking about how his drink wasn't working. And then Kimmy was like, well, my drink wasn't working too. And George was like, fuck, like that was gonna be my thing, you know? It's just because
it's supposed to be my flu game. This was gonna be my flu game.
And no one likes him, and like George and Kimmy and Max are like kikiing on the podium, and Max is just like talking to Kimmy and loving Kimmy, and then George comes in, they're like, okay, you, and then David Coulthard's interviewing him, and then Max and Kimmy are like, are we done here? And then they fucking leave, and Coulthard's like, everyone hates you, George. I guess they didn't want to talk. It's just like everyone knows that no one likes George, and it's just like, yeah.
George's talent to unpopularity ratio needs to be studied, and I think I found the perfect comp. The perfect comp between George's talent to unpopularity ratio is Anne Hathaway. George Russell is the Anne Hathaway of Formula One. He's so talented, so good looking, he can do it all. He's got all the potential in the world to be a star, and people just don't fuck with him because he tries, because he cares, because he puts effort into things, because he's a tryhard, because he wants to do well,
and he really wants to be liked. And people can smell that on them. And it's just like, Anne Hathaway is one of the most talented actresses in Hollywood. She's amazing. She's honestly like great in almost every movie that I've ever seen her in. I've never really seen
but nobody likes her. Do you know what I'm saying?
And the smartest thing that she did at some point, okay, I need to just let my work speak for itself and not be this public figure. Let me just like be a private person who happens to be in movies. And I think George Russell needs to take a note out of the Anne Hathaway book, because I think Anne Hathaway's been able to kind of rehabilitate her image. She's now starting to talk more, and it's starting to like not go so well.
No, she had a resurgence when she did the she's now rebranded herself as like mother.
Right.
She's now in her MILF era.
She's a dorky mom. She's your hot dork. She's your friend's hot dorky mom.
Yeah. No, ever since she did the Showalter movie, I think it's been flipped for her a little bit.
Right.
But anyway.
But George just needs to
do his MILF era.
He just needs to stop. He needs to like no one oh, this was cute for like a bit, and now it's like, no, this sucks now. Just keep your head down and like do the work and let the work speak for itself. But the yabba dabba doos and the like, my drink wasn't working, and like, you know, kind of he kind of is like half-assing it now. It's like it's like, if you're gonna do it, like come in with Michael, like hit him with the like, you know what I mean, like hit me with some pop, George.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you're right though. He's the Anne Hathaway of the motorsport world.
It's like everyone should have loved Anne Hathaway, but it became like a bad take.
Right.
Like when it became like a lame take, because people would say, I just can't stand Anne Hathaway. I go, that is an ice cold take. The hot take, the cool guy take, is to be like, she's actually one of the most talented actresses in the game.
Yes.
And it's just like, if you just like shut out what she says and does outside of the work, which is honestly what we do for men.
Right.
Right?
Except for George Russell.
Except for George Russell.
It's like and then we're gonna get off this.
Scientologist, like craziness,
right.
But he's just like cranking out, you know, like franchise after franchise. Nobody seems to care that he jumped on a couch.
She did the Oscars with James Franco, and James Franco acted like he would rather fucking like kill himself than be there. And she got roasted for it.
Right. And there was a great moment in the James Franco roasts where I forgot which comedian was like, yeah, fuck Anne Hathaway for trying. like at all, you know, for caring about hosts. Yeah, it was so unfair.
Yeah, then that's where I kind of like my George Zag take, which is that I'm just like, George, like, listen, was he the fastest today? No, but you know what? Like, he had a string of bad luck races, and now he's had 2 decent good luck races, with Kimi having the DNF in the last one and him getting away with this yellow flag situation and winning the race kind of by the skin of his teeth, but ultimately winning the race. So like, the luck gods are going this way, and we'll see. George doesn't really, and he said it, he was like, I don't really like this track. This is great for me. I think that George Russell's still very much in this championship.
Right, but how many races do you think he can win?
No, he's going to start having to win realistically. He's going to have to start winning like in a real way where he actually like just has the pace for the entire. But listen, like he could have won. There was 2 races there that he could have won and he didn't. So we'll see. Let's move on. Max Verstappen, Red Bull having a great race. Great weekend.
I am, I'm getting whiplash. I feel like I'm taking fast corners. My head's whipping around so fast because last week we're like, Hamilton's in this shit.
Yeah.
Hamilton's in this shit. Although he was the better driver than Leclerc. I mean, It just seemed like they had a DEG issue. But I will say this, last week it was Hamilton's in this shit. Number 8, bitch. This week, it feels like, holy shit. I am red bullish. I'm bullish, baby, on Max Verstappen. It looks like he might be back. It looks like they brought these upgrades. Maybe this power unit is good.
What do they bring? Do you know what upgrades they brought?
It's just weight.
It's just a lot of weight. Yeah.
The car is. They probably did some aerodynamic shit, but I think their main low-hanging fruit was the weight. They shed 3 or 4 kilos, I believe. And and it just, and they all, like, even if he was going for pole, he crashed. Even if could you imagine if he was like second?
Right.
Imagine if he was
and he crashed. I think that was just like a malfunction of the car. I think the wing was closed too early. There was something with like Red Bull was like, that was on us. That was not a Max. Like, that wasn't Max's fault. That was just like the car didn't behave in the way that we were supposed to. These are the upgrades that they brought, bringing a significant upgrade package to the RB22. Adjustments have been made to the side pod inlet and engine cover in order to improve reliability, while a number of changes aimed at boosting performance in local load. This includes updates to the floor, rear suspension, rear corner, rear wing, and exhaust. Additionally, profile changes to the floor have been carried out to improve flow conditioning performance. This is from F1.com. And, they can do all that, but at the end of the day, this car has been overweight since the beginning of the season. And they've said, like, this is the best, the Duo, right? It's got the best engine. But listen, you're going to have a great engine, and if you're, 4 kilos overweight, which is, roughly, 8.8 pounds? So give or take, your engine's not going to look great if you're overweight. So now if they've shed that, maybe we're seeing that there's a reason why this car is... and this engine is at the top of this Duo situation.
Well, I think Max had the fastest car today, with Max in it.
Right. Yeah, of
course. Had the fastest car. I think if he had started on pole or even second, I think this race was over. I think he's running away with this thing.
Matt, what am I hearing from you?
What?
Am I hearing that you think that Max Verstappen is in the running for the championship?
Well, I don't know. What's the WDC
standings are Kimi has 171, Max has 73. So he's 102 points back.
Oh, that's deep.
That's big.
How many races to go? Or 6 races in? I mean, to count him out at any point is just dumb. So Max is 102 points down right now.
Right.
But according to my memory, no, I'm kidding. Jenny pulled this up. After the Dutch GP, round 15, with 9 races left, only 9, he was down 104 points to Oscar Piastri. 104. And right now, he's got plenty, the 15 races, 102 points. Based on last year, if this car is hooked up, I had to see one more race to know if it's hooked up. Let's see how he does in Silverstone. But based on last year,
14 races to go. 14 races to go.
Based on 14 races, that's a fucking cakewalk.
That's a lifetime.
That's a lifetime for Max Verstappen. I mean, we don't know. Last week Hamilton was winning the whole thing.
Well, no, here's the thing. Okay, well let's discuss Hamilton as well, because they weren't quite on the pace today. They also, I mean, I was watching that race being like, what the fuck is this, putting him on the soft tire during this VSC? What the hell are we doing? He's solidly in third place, and we're putting him on this boneheaded strategy? Like, what the fuck? And then I'm waiting for it to, like, make good. This is such a, it's just such a classic Ferrari thing where it's just like, they do something, you're like, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't pass the eye test. That doesn't pass the smell check. And then you're waiting for it to, well, there must be something that I don't know. We watched the Ferrari strategy masterclass last time in Barcelona. There must be something happening here that I just don't understand. And then it was like, no, I do understand. Ferrari's back to its own old fucking ways. And listen, they were saying after the race, we were slow. Fred said the big issue was that was our pace, not the strategy. They were trying to throw a Hail Mary because their pace was off. I don't know. Yeah. It just seemed like a boneheaded fucking move. He was like 8 laps or 10 laps into his set of hard tires. And you bring him in for softs then in order to gain like 7 seconds off of a VSC. It made no sense to me. And the proof was in the pudding, hindsight being 2020. But I guess what, I had the hindsight when they did it in the first place. I said, this is not the right strategic move. This is stupid.
Yeah, he wasn't deep enough into his stint for that to have.
It made no sense.
They were in Hail Mary mode. They were just throwing shit against the wall. I mean, the Ferraris clearly wasn't good on their tires. I think maybe they were set up too much for quali, or they weren't really great on their tires last race in Spain, but it played to they were able to, maybe they're like, we'll run it back. We'll do the Spain special. But it didn't work, unfortunately, this time, because the 3-stopper wasn't effective. They had the cooling rims that didn't help them. I don't know what happened with them this week. I will say I was encouraged that Leclerc for Hamilton, the Hamfosi and the title hunt, Hamilton looked like the better driver this week too. I mean Leclerc pipped him in qualifying,
Q3.
But in the race, I mean, Lewis got him in the start, and then they were having the battles, and Leclerc let him through eventually. But it was Hamilton still looks like he's the better driver right now. I mean, it's definitely looking like more than a blip now, like a real trend.
Yeah, and I mean, their qualifying pace was also encouraging. I mean, who knows what Kimi would have gotten there in that last lap. Obviously, George got pole, but like they're still up there. I still think that Hamilton is in this title battle, and honestly, Verstappen throwing his hat into the ring, I think, kind of only helps Hamilton. Like if he can start winning a few races and start getting in the heads of Kimi and George, and Lewis can string together enough decent performances ahead of them and start to, make ground, then I see all those guys as being potentially in this thing, with Max being, more of the ultimate Hail Mary. We'll see how this Red Bull shapes up. We saw that at the end of last year that they were the car to beat for the last, third of the season. So the development war continues this year, and where the power ultimately is going to lie come October, come November, we still don't really know.
Well, I think Max winning some races or coming online will slow Mercedes down. I think the worst thing that can happen is other teams start to steal wins earlier. I think these races getting canceled because of what's going on in the Middle East was the worst thing to happen to Mercedes, because that was two wins that they just lost.
Right.
And I think because they're the furthest ahead, they have fewer gains to make. So
right.
I think the more wins that Max steals, the better it is for Ferrari.
Also, the more wins that George gets, the more that they trade, the more that Kimi and George are trading.
Yes.
That's 25 points for George. Right now, the standings are Kimi is in first place with, I think, 171 points. George is in second place with 131, and Lewis is 6 points behind him with 125. Then you have the McLaren boys. The McLarens are kind of nowhere, and then you've got Max below them. But this season is shaping up to be fucking great. I'm loving this season.
Best case scenario is like you want both Mercedes to DNF or finish poorly, but if not that, you want them both switching off. You don't want one guy just pulling ahead.
I thought for a second there they were going to do some alternate strategy with Kimi and George. It looked like that for a second they were really going to let Kimi try to go the full distance and only do a one stop. Obviously, George, that moment where George was on the radio being like, "I think the one stop's viable. One stop's viable, guys." I was curious if they were going to do that, because Kimi was not happy after George got that pole, because Kimi was ahead of George on that qualifying lap, backed off completely, and then all of a sudden George doesn't, lifts a little bit. We already discussed that, and gets his pole. Kimi was on the radio being like, how the fuck did that happen? So who knows if that's a little bit of like, oh, we're playing for keeps, it seems to be relatively copacetic right now, but watch that space for when does that thing start to turn a little bit ugly? When do people start making some alternate strategy moves? When do they start getting a little bit?
Well, I think they would have left Kimi out for longer and done an alternate strategy, but he wasn't. His tires were dead, and it was funny because George was saying, "Oh, I think the one stop is viable," but I think he was making rumblings on the radio. Correct me if I'm wrong. When he went in and Kimi was left out, he wanted Kimi to be brought in to like hold off Max.
I think what he was saying there was that he was like, he wanted Kimi. Yeah, he wanted to avoid anyone doing a one stop and beating him off of strategy. So he wanted to make sure that Kimi put enough pressure on Max in order to force Max's hand so that Max would do the one stop. I think he was like, yeah, you should bring in Kimi because that'll force Max to not do the one stop, or he was trying to make sure that no one was going to beat him off of a strategy move.
And what he really didn't want was what almost fucking happened, which is Kimi to get a safety car.
Right.
Which almost happened in the race.
Yeah.
He came in right when the safety car happened.
Right.
And he if that safety car, because apparently Kimi was already turning in.
It's a long path to the pits in Austria. So he was already going in. We came in the car. It was green. They didn't know that Carlos Sainz was about to pull over to the side of the road.
Right, but if like a couple of seconds later, he would have gone around another time, gotten the safety car, and just won the race. And then at that point, I don't know what happens. Does George just find an exit ramp and just drive away, never to be seen again? Does he just Forrest Gump it across Europe
Right.
What does he do at that point?
I mean, he only has 7 wins now in his career. I think this is his 7th win, and Kimi has 5. I mean, he won 5 in a row. Like they were like, and George, that's your 7. I was like, he only has 7. That's crazy because Kimi already has fucking 5, and they've all been this year. This is only his 2nd win of the year. Only I think his 3rd podium, maybe his 4th, but like it's been a chaotic year there.
He gets wins like dogs age, you know? They're like dog wins.
Yeah.
It's like each win is worth like 10 to him, the way he's had to get them.
All right, let's get to our awards. Hottest moment of the day.
It's obvious. There's only one choice. It's Max and Lewis.
Oh yeah,
battling it out, going onto the grass and the gravel.
Yeah,
amazing. Bringing me back to the glory days of F1 when things were good. Back in COVID times when life was good. Back when we couldn't leave our house, but those guys were racing each other for the championship.
Yeah, that was obviously unbelievable. I mean, even George said it in the cool down row, and he was like, I was looking on my dash, it was just going back and forth like ham ver. And George was like, no one's watching what I'm doing right now. No one gives a fuck about my race. It's like I bet what's happening back there is so awesome. It's so much cooler than what the fuck I'm doing up here.
The resin from the 2021 bong is better than the freshest nugs of the 2026 championship.
Yes. It's like a wine. It's a wine. You know, this is what year is this? 2021. Oh yeah, right. I'll take the bottle. Give me the bottle.
Yeah.
We have a new 2026 the freshest grapes in the world. Get that shit out of here. Yeah, that's obviously the one and only answer. Daddy of the day.
Daddy of the day.
Everyone's saying Max. Everyone on Instagram is saying Max.
I gotta say George. I mean, it was a responsible adult win. You know, he did his tax returns properly. He's like my dad. He read the contract. He filed the return. The joint return. He got the tax break. He did all the right things responsibly, and therefore he got the tax break, and the child Kimi did not. Because he read the rule book.
He read the rule book. He was at the hotel and he said, "Actually, I'm due for an upgrade." And he held the contract in front of
You know what he did? He got to LAX 4 hours early. He checked in on time, and he got the upgrade. And he got, you know, that's what happened.
Or really, I guess. Oh no,
that's
really,
what it was.
He showed up.
That's what it was.
He showed up late. Showed up late to LAX. But he had global entry and was like, and slipped right through security. And I was like, wait, you got here late. Like, you should miss your flight. And he was like, no, global entry. Like I know I can get through, right? Technically, I can cut this line.
Global entry. And he's a frequent. He's on Jenny's program. What's Jenny's program? That he's no frequent flyer program. He's United Gold, which he's kept up, even though he flies less. He's kept it up because he's responsible, and he's got all these hidden perks, and he's in the lounge, and so yeah. Whereas Kimi, he showed up late and he didn't have any of those things because he's not an adult.
Yeah. I would say Max is a good candidate because he was also like talking about safety. He's like being like, this is talking about safety, even though at other
Max
times
only cares about safety when it advantages him. The 5 second thing was only about safety because the Mercedes sucked on the starts and went to fuck the Ferraris.
Yes.
They only care about safety when it's like it's a competitive disadvantage.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the thing. Let's do Karen of the day right now. Could we do Karen of the day right now? I mean, it's Max Verstappen. He was like, clear penalty for Hamilton. I'm like, dude, shut up. Shut the fuck up. I mean, it was Coulthard and Palmer that was like, if that was the other way around, I mean, Lewis would have been so far off the track. It's not even funny.
Yeah. It was like, clear penalty. Max, that was great wheel-to-wheel racing. Are you fucking kidding me? No one even went off track. This is insane.
No, the fact that Max's wheel like touched the grass is a miracle. I mean, Lewis would have been in the hospital if it was the other way around. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Radio of the day. Lawson being like, I'm on fire, guys. And then like he's still going, and then like a lap later he goes, still on fire. Still on fire. It's unclear what was really going on there. He clearly wasn't. He was maybe smelling smoke, but he wasn't that on fire.
Though. He was probably
finishing the points.
Like some burning stuff. Yeah,
he finished in the points.
There was my favorite radio was something like where Charles. I'm paraphrasing here, but he was like, "Anything to lose by boxing now?" And he goes, "At this point, nothing."
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah, that was a really tough showing for Charles Leclerc because like he was truly at the bottom of the top runners. Because like behind him, because like you look at the timings from today, and you know, it's 25 seconds behind, you know, for Charles. Lando was 31 seconds behind George, right?
Right.
Then Charles pitted, so he was 45 seconds behind. But if he had stayed out, he would have been, I don't know, 35 seconds. He would have, you know, and then everyone else was lapped. So it was like there was a huge gap between the top 8 and the bottom, you know, 12. And Charles was just solidly, unequivocally at the bottom of all of that. This is really tough for him. And he had a great, you know, like him out qualifying Lewis seemed like, okay, he likes Austria. We've talked about how he's won there before. Seemed like we were talking with Gunter about who has more pressure on them, George or Charles, given Lewis's recent run in form. Obviously, the Ferrari wasn't in tip-top shape today, but Lewis, you know, clearly had his number today on a track that also we've talked about that Lewis doesn't really vibe with that much. He's won there twice, but where hasn't the fuck he won? He's won we're going to Silverstone where he's won 9 times. So if Lewis can get it, if Lewis has his number in Austria, what's it going to be like when we get next week in Silverstone? When this is like Lewis's favorite track in of all time.
Also, Lewis has always been gettable in qualifying. I mean, Nico might have split with him, like career-wise. Nico might have split with him in qualifying, like 50-50. But that's not how it shook out in the races. Like Lewis finished ahead of him most of the time. And George out-qualified him a lot. But on the race stints, you know, saving tires, managing the race, not fucking crashing. Right. It's these sorts of things where Lewis had the edge in a lot of the seasons. So I think it's not, you know, out qualifying Lewis is not really that much of an achievement. It's more, can you manage a race better than he can? And right now the answer seems to be no. And by the way, if Lewis out qualifies you, then you're fucked.
Right.
Because you know he's going to manage the race well.
Right. Yeah, and Charles historically is the opposite.
Right.
Charles is a Saturday, right. You know, how many poles that didn't convert into wins
right.
Charles had in his career? I mean, he's had tons of poles, not that many wins.
And historically, we've blamed the car. We've said, well, Ferrari sucks on the tires or they suck on the strategy. But now that Lewis is really managing the race as well, and
it's a different generation of car. I think that like Lewis didn't fuck with the ground effect. He likes these cars. Charles likes cars on, you know, it's like
It's the George Russell, Oscar Piastri thing, maybe.
Right. These guys have limitations, or the learning curve is steep. And we saw that Lewis never really got over that learning curve with the ground effect cars. But like these cars he fucks with, you know, we'll see. This might be a tough regulation set for one Charles Leclerc. This might be a tough, you know, couple of years if he can't get past this and he doesn't gel with this new generation. Before we get to red flag of the day, let's do locked in moment of the day. Locked in with Loop. Honestly, Max was pretty locked in today.
Max was locked in. I mean, he, especially in that first stint when he was just, it was a horror movie. The way he was hunting, he was hunting George down. It was,
and then at the end of the race,
he was hunting him down.
I mean, he was hunting him down. I mean, that was really a situation where it's like, give him, you know, we always talk about the strategy never converge, but like, you give him one more lap, two more laps, and he's on that ass. I mean,
it was saved by the bell.
Truly saved by the bell. George was like, thank fucking God. And they were like going through traffic.
Right.
And Fernando Alonso was like not getting out of the way there for a second. And
oh my God.
It was
for any of you guys who've watched Widow's Bay, there's a sequence in Widow's Bay, spoiler alert. There's a sequence in Widow's Bay that really spoofs like a horror trope where the woman is running and the guy with the mask is just walking with a knife and she just can't get any ground. She's just running and falling and the guy with the knife is just walking calmly and she just can't get it. Even though she's running and he's walking, she just can't make any ground on him. That's Max in one of these cars. And he was going off and locking up. That's I think the horror movie villain of Max might be back.
Yeah. And you know what? I would, and you could say that George was locked in qualifying, but that was a not safe move. And being locked in with Loop is all about safety and protecting yourself, most specifically protecting your ear and your eardrums, because these are the sexiest earplugs in the game, people. I mean, look at these are sick. You can wear them places. People will say, what the hell is that in your ear? And you go, it's a Loop earplug. It keeps the sound out. We love them on a race weekend. We wear them all the time because it's loud on those tracks. You pop in your Loop, you look sexy, and you protect your eardrums. And with code REDFLAGS, you get 20% off at loopearplugs.com. So go buy yourself some Loop today. Okay. Last but not least, red flag of the day. I'm going Cadillac. 3 laps. I mean, insane.
3 laps, yeah.
Like, you tear your fucking Achilles on the first 4 steps of the marathon. It's like insane.
Right.
And both of them out. It's like, how? You know, it's just, it's unacceptable. I mean, every week it's like, is it Aston Martin this week? Is it Cadillac this week? And Aston Martin's been holding that place, right? Aston Martin's been the embarrassment of the grid. And thank God for Aston Martin, because otherwise everyone would be looking at Cadillac saying, what the hell are you doing?
At least they're a new team. Like, at least they have an excuse.
Sure. But, you know, we're 6 races in and we're at altitude and your brakes can't handle 3 laps of action. It's crazy. What are practices for? Like, why do you practice? What are you practicing on Friday and Saturday that it gets to the Sunday, gets to the race, and you can't do more than 3 laps? Both of your cars out within the first 10 laps. It's like unacceptable.
What do you practice? Because you know you're not trying to win or even get in the points. You should just be practicing to run the whole race.
Exactly. All you have is time on track. That's literally all you have.
Right. Let's finish the race, guys. That's our goal. And they can't even do that. My red flags is that they voted to extend the term limits. for the FIA.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I was happy that at least the Stroll didn't pull over to the side of the road and had the presence of mind to not fuck up the race this time.
Right.
So I can't give it. You gave it to Cadillac. I can't give it to Aston Martin. I give it to the FIA for giving him unlimited terms to stay.
And also this race director, double wave yellow shit. It's like another weekend marred with controversy. It's like we can't have a clean fucking week because the powers that be are a mess. Monaco, the ground sinking into, a portal to hell opening up in it's just like what is every week? It's a
one
new
thing after another
fucking catastrophe.
The pit lane speedometer.
The Monaco was a mess everywhere. Then giving it to Gasly, and then everyone else being like, "Wait, what the fuck? Where's my fucking?" Where's my
and the
tax
only way
rebate?
you can hold these guys accountable, is through elections, which are this guy stands unopposed every election. Nobody can run against him, and he has unlimited term limits. So what incentive does he have to do a good job? None.
Project 2020, Project 2025, bro.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, that does it. We will do our Silverstone predictions on Vanka Hours with Gunter. But this pod would not be possible if it wasn't for all of you listening. Make sure you're subscribed. But it really wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for our Patreon members. So we got to thank them, most specifically our daddies. So we got to thank Kayla, Robin, Jordan Texera, Jay Lingle, Spencer Grieve, Javier, Sheila Valera, Chandler, Ali Santana, Carla Harlow, Kimberly Whalen, Alonce, Over My Face 69, Donya Dada, Debbie Daddy Muhammad, Jimmy, Kimmy, sponsored by Mommy of the Pod, Hollister 584, Delusional Science Fan, Kat, Future Dog Tour Dion, Stuff Grossi, Laura, Emily Gillenwater, Cody Hull is my F1 daddy, branched up UK with the Science Hate, Hunter Scruggs, Salmonella, Mozzarella, I'm a Leclerc fan, and yes, it hurts. Jay Cass, George Russell is evil, Peter Parker from Spider-Man 3, Matt Edwards is always right, I wish I was Max and Danny's love child, Delaney Andrews, Henry Caskey, Miles Lewis Alexander, Maggie B, Kaylee Breyer, Eve the Y, Devin, aka the Victor Dr. Sullivan's PA, Courtney Fraser, Yuki Sonoda's other mother, Jenny is the reason I am a daddy, Megan, Aaron, Pineapple with a Y, Matt has a secret boner for Carlos Sainz, unfortunately it's Gary, Caroline, my name is AJ and fuck the HOA, K-Mag can fuck smash my door any day, the official F1 race program and its executive editor, Sarah, I got tickled by the Tifosi, hey Jet, good luck out there, Allison Sane, Zhuzh, F1 Dude Company, Trent Slickman, Code Brown Sonoda, Jerome Ferreira, Colapinto is a fraud, Aaron, Shahid Jeans, Rockstar Chohan, Catalick My Balls, Stay Fierce, Leclerc, Truth Brigham, Arma Burns, Arthur Leclerc is hotter, Carlos Sainz, Opie Goblin, right meow, James, DNCTT, Finny, Daddy, Kev, not Magnuson, Mr. Ed, Bobby, Leonard Norris's unofficial girlfriend, why do I always hawk two on this name, Winkin, Lizzie Y, Jafar Mafar, Stroll pay the troll toll to get in the boys' hole, Andrew Prisco, Rojo the Bambino, the Great Paulbino, Sausage, Boy Atticus, Uno Cinco, Scott Menz likes cappuccino, Lays, and honorary daddy Bob this week, every week, one Nicole Piastri, hey, Oscar Piastri had a good week this week, outscored his nemesis, Mr. Lando Norris, and he's keeping that job because apparently there were rumors that Max Verstappen was going to McLaren, and then Zach Brown said that's not fucking true. If you want to go become a daddy of the pod, go to patreon.com/TRFpod and join the resistance today. We will see you on Wednesdays for Vanka Hours. Vankas.
Goodbye, Vankas.
Fire merch. It's so cool. I love this shirt.